Hello everyone, Samaritxn here, and today I'm bringing you a brand new video that is telling you the pros and cons of no longer having to use primed. Now, at first, I know that there is a big debacle over the fact that they nerfed prime, but they didn't necessarily nerf flinch in general, but thankfully, the developers at Sledgehammer were very quick on their feet, fixed that really quick, and now made the global flinch significantly less, and now we have an opening for different kinds of meta. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the change in meta. And what I really mean by that is you really get to play around with different things in Search and Destroy. If you're an AR player who really likes stock and really hates whenever you don't get to put it on, you now have that option because you can use the basic training hunker. So that's going to let you take a little bit more nades. I think it only lets you take another nade. It's the same kind of concept. You're able to no longer have to sacrifice stock and your 3 perk attachments, and you can just use hunker in order for you to get the same benefits. Primed is no longer a necessity on every single class, which is what we were seeing. This also means that we no longer have to run mountain all the time for S&D. If we want to keep our footsteps quiet, we can now use inconspicuous. I know that it is not as quiet, but it is still quiet and helps nonetheless. Doesn't make you sound like an elephant whenever you're going around the map. We also have energetic for people who want to play like a faster SMG. I've seen some people use scope for the less idle sway movement. I see that sometimes in S&D where people feel like their reticle moves too much, so now you're able to change that up in that way. So those are really the main basic trainings that are now going to be able to be used. But if you think about it, now an SMG player can use airborne and be able to move quietly, so they're going to be able to get really fast into someone's base, and it changes everything so much that you're going to be able to make new kinds of plays instead of having to wait for a nade and then maybe push but not exactly get the same kind of push that you would in other boots on the ground CODs, where you would see one round someone just flies at them with a silent sub, be able to be quiet and fly at them and get a 1 or 2 piece. I've been able to do that a few times in GBs, but I'm always afraid that they can hear me and that they'll be able to predict me. Fortunately for me, they usually don't expect it because no one expects someone to soar mid. But now that option is more available, which is really cool. And like I said, stock is a huge thing with infantry, and as well getting the 3 perk attachment. You no longer have to worry about always having prime. You're now able to change up your meta. Also, with the guns getting less global flinch, as they put it, you're now able to get more consistent gunfights. Like I said, just prime no longer being a necessity is something that the COD community has been asking for so long. We've been asking to do away with flinch. Don't worry about it. Get it out of here. I believe they did it in Infinite Warfare. I'm not too sure because I wasn't around during that game, but I saw some tweets about that. But if that is the case, then this is exactly what boots on the ground COD needed. Is you don't need inconsistency, because in a way, boots on the ground COD is going to be the most consistent game type, or going to be the most consistent type of game. That also brings me to my next thing that I wanted to talk about, which was the removal of gridiron. This is something that a lot of pros have been asking about, but there's also been, I've seen a 50-50 split between some of the community, where some people are just thinking that gridiron is the future, but at the same time, me playing Ghost as my last competitive COD, my real competitive COD, I remember playing Blitz and how awful it was, and whenever I played Gridiron, I kind of got the same notion, except you're more useless when you have the ball. With jetpack games, there's easier ways to get away whenever you have the ball, but whenever you're on boots on the ground, you can only do so much. And I think that's where it becomes a real detriment, and I'm glad that they took that out. CTF is in. They also took out a few maps. Some maps I wasn't too glad about. They also took out FMJ, which is another huge thing. In my opinion, I don't think FMJ was a necessity to be taken out. I know people were complaining about getting wallbanged, but I don't think taking out completely was the solution. There's a clip from Formal where he gets a nade on or his teammate gets a nade on someone, and he's trying to wallbang this dude, and he is just eating every single shot. He takes like another 6 or 7 shots. And I think that if that is the case, you can't make the gun stronger. You just can't. So what you do is you nerf FMJ to where it's not as strong and put it back into competitive, because there's no real good way to balance that out whenever you're talking about buffing a gun so it can wallbang easier. It's just going to cause a lot of conflict if you are shooting at them with full health and you have the FG42. Normally the FG42 is going to be a 3-shot. Make that a 5-shot. Make it to where FMJ makes it 2 more bullets to kill that person, maybe even 3 at a certain range, but you never want to get to that like 7 or 8 shot range. So I think a 5-shot through the wall is going to be really good, and just kind of use that as your basis, because the FG has the most consistent time to kill with 3 bullets. So that's something that I think the developers really need to look into, and maybe the pro players should start talking about. I want to talk about how really glad I am that Sledgehammer Games was able to see what they did wrong and immediately react to it. I come from a Halo background. I played competitive Halo for the last 2 years, and just looking at it, it's incredible that they're able to immediately respond to their community the way that they did. JCap puts out a tweet that then gets a lot of feedback, positive feedback in his end, negative feedback towards Sledgehammer, where he's talking about how global flinch needs to be reduced, and that was the huge argument. They were talking about making how flinch makes the gunfights inconsistent and things like that. And I really, really think that when they said that and they saw the community react, how fast they were with that should be a standard with other competitive communities. We can't have devs waiting several years to make a change or several months to make a change. These are things that have to happen quick, and I'm really glad seeing that in this community, because like I said, coming from Halo, some changes didn't happen for a couple months, some changes didn't happen for like a year, things like that. And even though that we got the change, it was temporary or things like that. So that's all that I really had for this video today. I just wanted to break down how things are changing in Call of Duty and how the meta is going to start changing as well, hopefully, and just how happy and excited I am because of the developers making these types of moves. So with that said, that's going to be all for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.